Hello and welcome back to another video from me, FPL Crusader. Call me Luke if you wish. Today we are doing the Game Week 32 preview. Yes, it's a double, another double. They're about to come thick and fast. We've got doubles over the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks. Then we've got a blank. Then I think in 36 we've got doubles as well. There could be even more, depending on what happens in these cup games. But for this preview, we're going to look at some stats, look at some injuries, and then look at the best options moving forward. Let's jump right into the injuries and suspensions. We've got big name players here. We're looking at Haaland, Ola Aina, who's 19% owned now. Haaland's, I think, done for the season. He might be back in game week 36 if they need him. And knowing Manchester City this season, they probably will. Aina's, as I said, 19% owned. It's a difficult one whether he's going to come back or not. Gabriel's gone for the season. So for those who transferred in Saliba last week, are well aware of that. 17% for Trent. Now, will Trent come back? He's going to Real Madrid at the end of the season. Like, will he even bother? They need to start life without Trent, so I'm not entirely sure if he'll get any game time if needed. Will he be needed? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so. Chris Wood, the magic man, Chris Wood, in his mid-30s, he's had the best career or season of his career. I just hope this injury doesn't call it quits for him. And then Kleiber, he's missed the last 2 or 3 games. I've still got him on my bench because I think Bournemouth could potentially have a double later on in the season. They've also got some good fixtures, and he is their penalty taker, so I'm going to keep him on. But I can see why people would move off the Bournemouth assets, considering their form has dipped a lot lately. So they were looking red hot 6 or 7 weeks ago, but their form recently hasn't been that flash. They're scoring goals, they're winning some games, but they're not winning a lot. The defensive assets haven't showed up at all. Let's have a look at the best fixtures this week. Obviously, first off, we're going to focus on Palace. We've got City and Newcastle both away. We know Palace are really good at keeping clean sheets away from home this season. Now, to City, you probably understand that maybe they wouldn't keep a clean sheet, considering their firepower. The issue is Newcastle. Can they travel to Newcastle in front of that raucous Newcastle crowd and keep a clean sheet? I would highly doubt it. Newcastle have Manchester United and Crystal Palace at home. 2 plum fixtures, really, for home fixtures for them. Alexander Isak will be a huge captaincy option, as will those who want to go a bit rogue. Brighton and Chelsea have Leicester and Ipswich at home, respectively. That's a really good fixture. Mo Salah has West Ham at home. That's a really good fixture. Forest have Everton at home. I smell clean sheet there. So there's a few good fixtures this week, but realistically, it's between Palace and Newcastle as to who you want to keep. This one's for you United supporters. Bruno Fernandes is the top player in terms of form in FPL over the last 6 game weeks. I didn't think this at all. I know he's had a pretty good run, but they've had some pretty tough teams to play against. But Bruno, well done. You're number 1 right now. You've usurped Mo Salah. Mark Cucurella is there as well. Remember, he got 2 goals in 2 games a few weeks back. That heavily relies on that, but they also had a clean sheet last week, which really got some points for. Brian Mbeumo, interesting. He's still up there in terms of form. Those who don't have him or those who have transferred him out might be a bit panicky right now, but it is what it is. And Langer's doing really well. Brennan Johnson's form would be right up, basically because he got 3 returns in the last game week. Milinkovic got a goal, and obviously Sarr and Munoz are playing pretty well together. Expect the Newcastle and or Crystal Palace players to shoot up this table over the next coming game weeks. But congratulations, Bruno. You're number 1 on this particular table. Now, usually I do XGI over the last 6 game weeks next, but it's becoming a bit of a no-brainer. We know who's scoring the goals. We know who's getting the XGI. It's all Salah, it's all Palmer, it's all Haaland. It's dominated by a lot of these goal scorers. So I thought I'd just focus on XA, expected assists, last 6 game weeks. Palmer's obviously number 1, and I think he will be for the next few seasons in terms of XA. And Mbeumo's there, so is Salah and Arnold. But then you get to interesting players like Bruno Fernandes, Alex Iwobi doing really good for Fulham. We just beat Liverpool. He was a big key player in that game, and he will be a big key player moving forward as we try and push for Europe. We've got a horrible fixture run, but we are sitting 7th. If we can win 4 of the next 8, Do I dare to dream? I live in Australia. Should I book my European tour? I hope so. We'll see how it goes. Savinho's there as well. The thing with Savinho is he doesn't get the minutes, right? He didn't start last week. They've got 2 doubles coming up, City, potentially. If you bang on Savinho and you see him benched, it will be catastrophic to you. I wouldn't say catastrophic, but it'll be frustrating to your rank, put it that way, because you wasted a transfer. But that being said, when he comes into the team, he can do amazing things. He's got 11 assists this season. For a bloke who doesn't get starts, or doesn't get as many starts as he should, that's amazing. Madison is there, and Mikkel Damsgaard, the unsung hero of Brentford, he's doing relatively well as well. So that's your XA team. Obviously, I put Alex Iwobi there because I'm completely biased. Expected FPL points over the next 2 game weeks. I tried to incorporate some of the Palace players. Marmoush is actually number 1. City's fixtures are looking not too bad, and Marmoush is the number 1 person in that City squad to score goals. Obviously, Salah will always be there because he's literally expected to get 7 points per game. Mateta, Sarr, Isaac, all doublers, all looking really good in terms of expected points. So if you've got them, well done. Eze is a shout as well. Those who went Eze instead of Sarr and spent the money, you've reaped the benefits so far. For your sakes, I hope it comes off over the next 2 weeks as well. Then you've got the likes of Saka, Palmer, Raya, interestingly enough, expecting some clean sheets there, and then Murphy. For those that go Murphy this week, it's a little bit points chasing for me. I did consider it. I have brought in a midfielder. I did consider Murphy, but I didn't really want to chase the points because after this double game week, I don't think I'd play him that much. So I should have gone there last week. Got the points, got the double, and then got rid of him. That would have been perfect. But here's the most popular person to be brought in for game week 32. 380,000 as it stands 24 hours before deadline, or just over 24 hours before deadline. Here's the number 1 player to be brought in. And why not? He looked good last week. Anthony Gordon, we're not entirely sure if he's ready to come back. So Murphy will still be the number 2 attacking asset behind Alexander Isaac. He got 2 goals last week. He's got a double in game week 32. It's pretty easy to see why he's been brought in. Mateta is 325k. That'll increase, as I said, over the next 24 hours. He's in goal scoring form. He's got 2 doubles in the next 2 game weeks. And he's come back from his head injury, looking just as good as he was before he left. Morgan Rogers, 3 returns in 2 game weeks. He's a 90-minute man. They've got a double game week in game week 33. They seem to be running him into the ground like Arsenal do to Bukayo Saka, but hopefully he can handle it a little bit better this season. So those are your top 3 players that you've brought in for game week 32. Let me know if you've got any of them. Mateta's the one that I'm really thinking of out of those. Sorry about that. Lost my microphone there for a second. So I was talking about Isaac. Manchester United and Palace are 2 really good home fixtures for Newcastle. They should do very well. I think they'll dominate Manchester United. And the only concern I have with Palace is they do love playing away games. But he is the triple captain possibility this week. If you've still got that up your sleeve, it's not a bad one. And he is the talisman of that team. So I expect some returns over this game week from him. I've put Palmer in here as well as the single game week captaincy option. He's home to Ipswich. Hopefully they'll play him into form, or maybe we just need to get rid of him. He's almost spent 8 games. I think it's 8 games without it could be 8 games without a goal. Frustrating for everyone that owns him, right? Sorry, I just had to check that. It's 9 games for Palmer without a goal, and that does not include the game he was rested for. So, look, the reason why the people like myself are gluttons for punishment in terms of Palmer and Haaland's, we know how good they can be, so you hold on to them for too long. But realistically, if he's not looking that flash this game week against Ipswich, then Saka's going to come in for him, I think. Mateta is the other captaincy option for me. If I didn't have Isaac, it would be Mateta away to City and Newcastle. On paper, those look like horrible fixtures. However, we know that he loves playing, and Crystal Palace love playing away. They're keeping clean sheets away. He's in goal-scoring form, and he is their talisman. So those are the 3 captaincy options for me this week. Liverpool, in terms of goals scored, away out in front. Tottenham and Manchester City are 14 goals behind. Arsenal, Chelsea, usual suspects, and then Newcastle, Bournemouth. And interesting to see Forest up there in the top 8. We expect them to win games 1 or 2-0. but they're still the 8th best attacking team in terms of goals scored. So maybe they do deserve their place in the top 4. A lot of people on social media have been saying it's just a fad and it won't last. But assuming they keep all their decent players in January, you have to expect it will happen again next season. The tough thing for them will be playing European football as well. Differentials for this week. Daniel Mellon, he is away to Southampton. He's got 2 goals in 2 game weeks. He's a guaranteed starter almost as guaranteed as he could be. I'm not in the know, so don't quote me on that. But he doesn't play in Europe. He's only playing in the Premier League. And he's playing really well. 2 goals in 2 game weeks. As I said, Tino Livramento got the first assist this season last week. He's at home to Manchester United and Palace. He's probably going to get clean sheets. So I expect him to do really well. And also from Newcastle again, Harvey Barnes. 3 returns in the last 3. He's gone a bit under the radar because of what Murphy and Livramento have done. He's at home to Manchester United and Palace as well. He does have that explosiveness in him, Harvey Barnes, to come off the bench and score goals, a bit like the likes of Mellon and Asensio for Villa as well. But I think Harvey Barnes will do pretty good this week, considering Anthony Gordon isn't at full fitness, so he won't get all those minutes. In terms of goals conceded, it's the bottom 3 teams, or bottom 4 teams, really. Interesting to see Brighton there on 47 with Brentford as well. Aston Villa, 46. Their defense needs a real rethink at the moment, especially over the summer. I think they'll need to do something different there. They can't continue to have a successful season while having the top 10 worst defense. That's just my 2 cents. For differentials, Mellon, Livramento, and Barnes, you'd be foolish if you didn't go with a double game week player for your differential this week, I would expect. All right, let's have a look at the Crusaders crosshairs. So my goalies for the rest of the season are Pope, Martinez, Henderson, Edison, and Sales. These are the only ones I really care about. And I think these are the ones who will score the most points. Honorable mention to Raya. I think he could get a fair few clean sheets, but at the moment, I'm probably not looking at him. I might, after 32, I might get rid of Pope and put Raya in there just to make it easier on my little brain there. But let's look at 32 specifically. Martinez with Villa at away to Southampton, plum fixture. Newcastle, Pope, Manchester United, and Crystal Palace. Potential for cleans there. I actually have Pope. I brought him in a few weeks ago, so a bit biased there. And also Henderson. If they're going to get clean sheets, 2 of them away to City and Newcastle, then he's going to be the highest scoring player of the round almost. The thing with Edison is I'm not sure if he'll get the minutes, but he does have a potential for a double in 33 and 36. Sales, as we know, they have the best defense in the league at the moment. So I'll leave that up to you, but these are the 5 that are in my crosshairs. Now, for defense, Luca Dean could be any defender from Aston Villa. As I just said to you before, they're leading in so many goals, it honestly doesn't really matter who you choose because you're not going to get clean sheets. And I don't think any of them are really that flash in terms of attacking assets. But I put Luca Dean in there just because I love getting hurt. He's got Southampton this week, and then he's got a double in 33 and potentially 36 as well. Vardiol for City, Crystal Palace, then Everton and Villa, and then he's got a plum fixture potentially in 36, Southampton and Bournemouth. That's one of the best doubles you could possibly ask for. Livramento, as we said, he got that assist, his first assist of the season. Can he replicate it over the next couple of game weeks? They do have Ipswich in 34, which is a nice little fixture. I personally will be on free hits, so I'll probably have Livramento on my team there, along with Nicky Pope. Munoz, can he get some attacking assets? He's been so good over the last few weeks. He's got 4 games in the next 2 game weeks, and he blanks. Hopefully Munoz can just keep going really well, and those who own him will keep getting those points. And Milinkovic, you'd expect him to put his big fat head on a cross and get you a goal at the very least, some clean sheet points. Let's have a look at the midfielders now. So we got Saka, Mellon, Sarr, Savio, and Gordon. There are a couple of asterisks on these players. Saka is still flagged, so he's not starting. He probably won't bother starting against Brentford. I could see him coming off the bench. Gordon, I'd expect him to play City, but if he does that, and I'm not entirely sure. Sorry, not City. Who's he playing? I've just forgotten. Manchester United, I should say. Then maybe he gets rested for Palace. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. That's why Harvey Barnes is such a good differential this week. He can really get you some of those good points. But look at Saka. He's got Brentford. Then we've got Ipswich and Crystal Palace. A really plum double there. So you need at least 2, I think. I'll be looking at probably Timber and Saka if Timber's fit. They run towards the end of the season for Arsenal in that flash. They got Bournemouth, which is still a tough fixture nowadays. Then they got Liverpool in 36. That should have been a title decider, but they've fumbled it again. Then Newcastle, they finished on Southampton. In game week 38 in Southampton, they won't really have anything to play for, and they could potentially be in a Champions League final. So I'd expect that to be a heavily rotated team there. Daniel Mellon, Southampton this week. Newcastle, Manchester City next week. Then they're blank. Then they got Fulham, and then they got Bournemouth and Tottenham. So you don't really need too many of the defensive assets, but they've got a lot of attacking assets coming up soon. Savio is the one I'm concerned with because his minutes. But if he gets the minutes, you'd want him in your team. And Sarr, we know how good Sarr can be. When Mateta was gone, Sarr stepped up and played really well. It'd be interesting to see if both of them can fire at the same time with Eze. That's a lethal combination. Those three, hopefully they can fire together moving forward. Now, my forwards that I'm looking for, obviously I've taken Erling Haaland out. So I've got Watkins, Evan Nielsen, Mateta, Marmoush, and the Mr. Obvious. Captain Obvious this week is Alexander Isak. Watkins is the one with the asterisks for me because I'm not entirely sure if I need him. We've got some of those midfielders that can score goals. I think he's still in their number 1 team for Aston Villa, but it's very hard to figure out what Emery's plan is. Mellon can play in Watkins' space, as can Rashford, as we know. If he gets minutes, he should be fine. But that's it, if he gets the minutes. For Evan Nielsen, he's in amazing form. The reason why I'm thinking about removing Evan Nielsen, you'll see from the poll, I just need to bring in Mateta, I think. 2 doubles in 2 game weeks. It's a bit of a no-brainer for me. I've got Marmoush, Isak, and Evan Nielsen currently, and I'm contemplating bringing in Mateta. They're all much of a muchness. I think I've got what I could get out of Evan Nielsen. He's never really scored more than 5 or 6 games in a row. Even though when he played for Porto, he was leading their line in the domestic league and also the Champions League. I think we've got the most out of him so far. Marmoush for City. You need a City striker. He's the best. And obviously, Alexander Isak is the captaincy option this week. So that's my Crusaders crosshairs for the week. If I was on a wild card, this is how my team would look. I've got triple Newcastle, triple Palace. It's a bit of a no-brainer. I do still have Palmer. I do still have Salah. And I've got a couple from City there as well. It would line up like this. It would be Pope in goal. Murillo, that could be Milinkovic, depending on how much you got in the bank. I had to use Murillo. I had to keep him there from my current team because of the money. Could be Milinkovic, could be Aina, it could be anyone. Just need someone from that Nottingham Forest defense because you know they're going to get some clean sheets towards the end. Murillo, Vardiol, Munoz. And then I've got Sarr. Once again, that could be Eze, depending on how much cash you got at your sleeve. Palmer at home to Ipswich. I've got Murphy, obviously because he is Mr. Popular and Mr. Fantastic. Mo Salah's a no-brainer. Alexander Isak, Marmoush, and Mateta. The bench looks good with Mellon, Konsa, Saliba, and Kepa. Arrizabala. But the reason why I got put Kepa is moving forward, I want someone from the Cherries if they do double towards the end of the season, and that way I can decide whether or not I bring in Mateta or for Evan Nielsen, or I can maybe even have a Mellon for a Clibert if I need, or a Murphy for a Clibert. That might actually work better for this team. So if this is my game week 32, if I was wildcarding, this is how my team would look this week. If you are wildcarding, good luck. Let me know what your team looks like. It's very exciting to look at these wildcards. I've been playing Challenge all year, and I've been putting it on my slides all year. I'm not really trying to promote it, but it's just a little bit of fun. This week is an all-rounder, and the formation must be 2, 2, and 2. With 2 teams having two games and a double, it's pretty obvious you're going to stack your team with them. So Henderson and Munoz as the defenders from Crystal Palace have also got Tino Livramento there. Hopefully he can get another assist. In the midfield, I've gone for the double up of Murphy and Gordon. And up front, I've got Mateta and Isaac, with Isaac being the captain. If Gordon isn't fit, then that can just be Eze. I might even just change that to Eze, to be honest. Might just be easier for this purpose and challenge. But have a crack at it. I think it's a little bit of fun. So we spend so much time looking at stats and everything for FPL. For the challenge, it's just one of those quick fire things you can do. And if it comes off, yeah, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't think anyone's spruiking their rank in FPL challenge. Mine's 70 grand, which is not too bad considering there's 3.5, 4 million players. So, but it's not really about rank. It's about the different ways they're doing things every week. Here's my team. Here's how it lines up. Mbuemo is gone. I've brought in Daniel Mellon for reasons I spoke about earlier. He's got Southampton this week, and he's got a couple of doubles coming up. Evan Nielsen is now gone. I put up a poll on Twitter or X or whatever you call it to see what you thought I should do in terms of a transfer. Should I bring in Mateta or should I keep Evan Nielsen? It was pretty close, to be honest. I had 53% to bring in Mateta and 46 to keep Evan Nielsen. So, as I thought, it was a very close call. I took a -4 to get myself here, but I wanted that because I want Mateta for the next 2 game weeks. I want Mellon for the rest of the season. And Mbuemo, I don't think it's going to do that. He might do good against Arsenal, but I don't think it'll be that flash for the rest of the season. I do have defensive issues. I've still got Mazraoui, but I've got enough bank, 1.9 million in the bank. I've got enough that Mazraoui can easily be a Saliba or a Timber or something for next game week when I think Palmer will go to Saka. So I'll be taking another hit next week, which I've taken a hit last week, this week, and next week. But these are all for doubles, and they've all paid off so far. So I think we should be good. Isaac is my captain. Bit of a no-brainer. I didn't bring in any Newcastle midfielders because I didn't think I'd need them after this game week. And I think it was better. My team is better to be set up to have Mellon there, who has guaranteed minutes and is in goal-scoring form, than chase points for Jacob Murphy. I've figured that in the past. It doesn't really work that well. Last week was a good week. I had 54 points, -4, obviously, because of the hit. I was at 1.4. I'm down to 1.27. So 163k green arrow, which is not too bad. I'll take that any day of the week. Expected points here is 80. I'd expect closer to 100, to be honest. I think Vardy is going to get a clean. Mamu should score. Sarr should score. Mateta should score. Hopefully Munoz can get a clean. Probably not. That's the thing with FPL. Munoz has got 2 good games and a double, but he's also playing 4 players in my team, which I don't want them all to blank. So how do you hedge up the bets? I think something needs to change in terms of the point structure for FPL, for defenders specifically. I mean, unless they're scoring goals, as soon as their clean sheet's wiped, they're irrelevant, completely irrelevant. So I think something needs to change there, but hopefully they're employing some new people that have amazing minds and can help us move forward with the game that we love. But just to run through my team, it's Pope in goal. He's got home fixtures to Manchester United and Crystal Palace. I've got I got Murillo, who's at home to Everton for Forest. Vardy home to Crystal Palace. Munoz away to City and Newcastle. Sarr away to City and Newcastle. Palmer's at home to Ipswich. Mellon's away to Southampton. Mo Salah's at home to West Ham. It says here he's the vice, but I've changed that. Isaac is my captain. He is at home to Manchester United and home to Crystal Palace. If you're triple captaining Alexander Isaac, good luck. Marmoush at home to Palace and Mateta away to City and Newcastle. He is my vice. On the bench, I've got Flappy. He'll be gone in game week 36 when I play my bench boost. I've got Kluivert, Huysen, both from the Cherries, and they'll stay there for the foreseeable future. Next week, I'll likely be getting rid of Mazraoui and bringing in one of those Arsenal defenders. But that's how my team lines up. I'm pretty happy with how the team looks currently. The rank's shocking, but that's due to previous issues. I think we'll drive it right down. I'm really trying to get to under 500k finish. It could be, I'll need about 70 points compared to everyone else. It could be a tough slog, but hopefully we can get there. That's my Game Week 32 preview. Thank you for tuning in. I hope all your arrows are green and your differential score hat tricks. Let me know who you're going with in terms of captaincy, and or if you're playing any chips. I'm always interested to see that. Thanks for tuning in. As I said, my name's Luke, FPL Crusader. Have a good week.